What's up, guys? It's Benny. Breaking news, earth-shattering report from the federal government, including footage from Jeffrey Epstein's cell the night that he was murdered, along with a full memo detailing their findings in a full-scale investigation that the government has leveraged against Jeffrey Epstein and his pederast cult. And you are not going to believe the findings. Let me set the table for you, though.
That is right-wing MAGA. You can't even say commentator. Really, the word for him is cheerleader. A Trump cheerleader. Trump propagandist. Like few other people are in the space. To most serious people, even if you're right-wing, Benny Johnson is a little bit of a goof because he does this weird Trump has aura like we've never seen. The riz that eeps and leaks out of every pore of Trump's body makes me turned on. I mean, it makes me so proud of our president. And it's just kind of a joke. But even he is going, this Epstein announcement is not great. This doesn't make us look great. Especially if you're a conspiracy theorist like the Bennies of the world are. I don't know how you conspiracy theorize your way out of a really bad conclusion for Trump. Even without conspiracy theorizing, the whole way they've handled this has been a nightmare. It's on my desk, the client list, and now it's not present. That by itself is just a PR, at the very least, debacle. And watching these so we covered a bunch yesterday, the substance of it, the ins and outs. We will do a follow-up segment after today's morning show, welcome to the morning show, about the whole footage part, which is just, by the end of this, you're gonna have me in one of those tinfoil hats, okay? By the end of this whole debacle, I'm telling you. But today, the start of the show is more about watching the biggest Trump cheerleaders try to bend their brain in different pretzels to not say this looks bad for Trump. It can look bad for everyone else. And they can be angry. And they can be doing this to us. They can be keeping the truth. They can be hiding the documents or whatever. But it can never be Trump. It's fascinating. Before playing more of this, welcome everybody, as I said, to the morning show. I hope you're doing absolutely wonderful. Someone got it correctly in the comments. The reason that we're late today is because I hired one of those red pandas to wake me up, and they failed. It was pawing at me, and I was staying in my slumber. If you don't understand that reference, become a member by clicking the join button on YouTube. I'll thank you while we're still live and get the bonus show where we talked about the red panda phenomenon. Back to Benny. Now, to go back a little bit, normally his "Hey, what's up? It's Benny" sounds like this.
What's up, guys? It's Benny.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Right? It's a very elevated. Today,
Benny.
Very elevated sometimes. Today it was somber.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Breaking news.
That's serious, Benny. That's serious, Benny. I wish I could go back. There you go. Play it again. This is happy Benny.
What's up, guys? It's Benny.
Sad Benny.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Breaking.
We got some shit to talk about, Benny. Play happy Benny.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Breaking news.
I messed it up.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Breaking.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Yeah, so you know things are getting real. Okay, back to where we were before.
Right now, this channel has spent tens of thousands of hours detailing the malevolence of the deep state and the blackness of that entity, and not even we were prepared for what just happened. This has changed everything. To be able to commit murder in front of the world, to lie about it and cover it up, and then to officially get away with it, ladies and gentlemen, we are in dark times.
So I'm not going to go through and fact check every claim. Again, more what we're doing today is observing. We did the reacting to the news in and of itself yesterday. Today, we're just observing more of how MAGA's reacting to it. But at certain points, I will not be able to resist the urge of addressing some of the claims that get made. Like, many in the audience probably disagree with me, but from my examination of the evidence, which wasn't the most thorough in the history of examinations, but we did it on the show, I think indeed Epstein killed himself. He killed himself.
He killed himself.
But let's keep listening.
Exclusive, DOJ, FBI conclude Epstein had no client list, committed suicide, and that Jeffrey Epstein committed no blackmail against powerful people. Wow. Donald Trump's Justice Department, FBI, have concluded that they have no evidence that convicted sex offender and disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein blackmailed powerful figures, kept a client list, or was murdered, according to a memo detailing the findings obtained by Axios. Okay, so much to unpack there. Let's read a little bit, and then I have some counter arguments here. The administration is releasing a video, both raw and enhanced versions, that it says indicates that no one entered the area in the Manhattan prison where Epstein.
Yeah, so again, the suicide claims are less interesting to me because I already feel like I got an answer on that. The stuff that's more interesting is with all that you hear floating around about what Epstein was recording and what could have been used as blackmail and all of that. Maybe there's more outstanding answers, but let's skip to the end here. Just again, we're getting a mood check-in on Benny.
So you have tens of thousands and thousands and thousands of images of just Jeffrey Epstein. Really? And no other names. Nothing. All those thousands of visits to the islands, all those thousands of plane trips, packed planes, packed with celebrities and politicians, with billionaires and bankers, all of them flying to Little St. James, all of them flying in, day and night. We have the flight logs. The flight logs are like a binder deep. And nothing? No one else did anything? Thousands of victims, it says there, but nobody else is guilty. I don't buy it. But that's what we're getting. All right. Okay. And this video. All right.
Get ready. This is so at the end of his videos, he goes, "It's your boy Benny." At the top, he goes, "Hey, what's up? It's Benny." At the bottom, he goes, "It's your boy Benny," right? That's like how he ends it. I like it. He has a close, an open, and a close. And normally it's like, "Hey, what's up? It's Benny. Kamala Harris is absolutely melting down and can't stand one more second. And also, she's hammered. It's your boy Benny signing out," right? Normally those are his coverage, but now it's sad Benny, and so he goes, "It's your boy Benny." Listen to that part.
All right. We'll see what happens in the morning. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe for the truth. We'll keep going. See ya.
So again, what I'm focusing, is it a tragedy that we know there are going to be perpetrators who won't be held accountable? Yes, that's a tragedy. And I could sit here and I could focus on just that, which we have focused on before, and it would be very sad. So, on a more lighthearted note, we're more looking at the political side of this, which is that being said, it's fascinating seeing people who have built a career out of rooting on Trump, and specifically, there was so much emphasis put on the idea that Trump was going to expose all of these deep state conspiracies. But then a lot of people like Benny don't ever really say, it's like Voldemort, they can't say Trump's name in this context. Now, we didn't watch the whole video, maybe he did, but often it's who's covering this up under Trump, keeping it from Trump. Whenever they are making allegations of cover-ups under Biden, it's Biden's fault. When they make allegations of cover-ups under Trump, it's everyone else's fault, like everything. Whenever something about immigration goes away they don't like under Biden, it's Biden's fault. Whenever something about immigration goes away they don't like under Trump, it's everyone under Trump's fault. All the time. Always the deep state. And
it was the deep state 100%.
If your guy is so weak that he can't jujitsu the deep state on his second try, then why do you like him so much? I don't get it. One other Benny clip. And again, if you're just joining us, Benny is the take cringe, take MAGA, take 100% support for Trump to the point where his bio is front row seat to the golden age or something like that. Okay, about Trump's golden age of America. And turn that into like the spirit animal of all those things combined is Benny. So I think it sums up nicely a very specific part of the World Wide Web.
Right around between the 1 and 0 percentile. And so to pull the whole nothing happened here, don't believe your eyes, and trust us, bro, we looked into it. Move along. You don't understand what time it is. That style of disclosure to the American people died with your grandparents. Not since the 1960s have you been able to look.
So you get the point. You get the point. I don't really know what's going to come of this, if I'm going to be frank with you, because for us, we can kind of come to some sort of conclusion. It's not necessarily a great one. And if there is evidence, as some of the victims of Epstein have testified to or written down, of other perpetrators, then no matter how much time passes, we want to see those perpetrators, however powerful or influential, held to account. And so that needs to keep pushing. The fear is that there are going to be people who there just won't be the evidence for a strong criminal case, and that's a tragedy. But it doesn't destroy our political worldview, right? That's kind of what we've been exploring here, because we go, wow, here's a terrible person. We know that often very powerful people, as with other people, do terrible things. Maybe there was a more coordinated element to this, given who Epstein knew, and sort of was there a blackmail component to it? We don't really know for sure. But we want to see justice, whether it's under Biden, whether it's under Trump, whether whatever. But that's a part of analyzing the world. And we know terrible people exist, and terrible things like this should see justice and often don't. But it's different with MAGA. When they saw this as the epitome of Trump's heroism. Because the reason he was friends with Epstein, they'd say, was to investigate him.
Bullshit.
Like, people will point to Bill Clinton's friendship with Epstein or associations or when he flew on the plane or whatever. And I say, if ever you found evidence of a Clinton crime, hold him accountable. If that ever comes to surface, hold him fully accountable. But with them, it's impossible, because Trump has been working so long and so hard to take down the deep state pedo ring that he got himself into it, right? He was like, I'm not saying he's a pedo. I'm saying he was in the ring. Like he was an undercover cop. This is what the QAnon folks believe. I've talked to them and I've said, all right, I get it. You believe all the Democrats. For some reason, you have a real political slant to who you think are pedos, but okay. You think all the Democrats and any Republicans that don't like Trump, they're all pedos. Okay. Got it. So, who's a good example? How do you know that? And they go, well, what about Epstein? See, this is proof that these sorts of associations exist. And I go, okay. Well, a lot of the Democrats you're naming had never interacted with Epstein, but all right, I get what you're saying. There's real life, powerful people who are pedos. That exists, so then you're extrapolating from that all the people you don't like are also pedos. Kind of weird, but okay. But if Epstein's your example of a powerful person associated with other powerful people that bolster your QAnon conspiracy, then why don't you ever care that Trump was so tight with him for a while? Best friends for a decade, Epstein said. According to Trump, until Trump wanted to distance himself from Epstein. According to Epstein, until Epstein found out that Trump was too much of a crook for Epstein. Okay? And the QAnons would say it's because he was dismantling it from the inside. Because one of the answers would be, well, he didn't know. He was just friends with powerful people. He was friends with Epstein. He didn't know, and then when he started getting a whiff of something bad, he left. That's one argument, but instead they use the argument because he was dismantling it from the inside. Which is an argument, and a strange one. Let me see if I can find, actually, because I just want to, I tell you about the tinfoil hat. Wish well. Let's see if we can just, yeah.
Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison, and a lot of people want to know if she's going to turn in powerful people. And I know you've talked in the past about Prince Andrew, and you've criticized Bill Clinton's behavior. I'm wondering, do you feel that she's going to turn in powerful men? How do you see that working out?
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well, whatever it is. I don't know the situation with Prince Andrew. Just don't know. Not aware of it.
He wishes her well. One of the most notorious groomers in American history. He wishes her well. He wishes her well. He wishes everyone well. Except for almost everyone. But her, he wishes her well. So, all I'm saying is be consistent, MAGA. Because you're all twisted into pretzels. I'm not going as far as you would go if this were a Democrat. I'm saying, here are the facts. It's your boy Benny. Christopher McCain said we need the soundbite of Luke saying shit. For yesterday's bonus show, Chris Cuomo went, shit. So I did that because sometimes that's perfect for some of these stories. But in the meantime, hearing it live works too. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Julie Jules said, I can't believe the Trump administration thinks we can't see through their lies about files. Then Kit Jones said, anyone seen Benny's TED Talk? Excuse me? Benny Johnson did what would he even do a TED Talk on? Wait, I didn't even look up TED Talk. TED Talk. Find your inner scientist. Okay, I can't, that's too long. How on earth did he, well, I'll look through that and maybe we'll cover it on the bonus show or something. And speaking of the bonus show, if you're watching right now, and you have a $5 sitting around anywhere, under a couch cushion, in a piggy bank, in your brother's wallet, whatever, and you want to use it to become a member, I'd appreciate it. We have a ball of a time. It supports the work we do. All you have to do is click the join button. If the join button's not there, at our live show that was just magical over the weekend, I had a couple people come up to me and say, hey, I've been trying to become a member, but I can't look. And there was no join button for them. Like in-person meet and greet, and we're talking about how to get the memberships. So we put in the description of this video and every other video a link. If you look at the members thing, you can click on it and it'll take you to becoming a member. And I'll thank you if you do it while we're still live. We'll shout out your name. And then we have officially launched PEP. My brothers and I set out over the last year and a half to solve the problem of loving energy drinks but hating what they do to our body. And it's called PEP, Platinum Energy Probiotics. And it uplifts your gut microbiome. It does not wreck it like so many of the other drinks. Drinkpep.com, that QR code was on screen. You can scan it as well and order some PEP. That's kind of our new way of supporting this program and supporting your body at the same time. Well, this is just something else. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is meeting with Trump and says, Dear Trump, I brought you a letter that I sent to, or a copy of a letter that I sent to the Nobel Peace Prize Committee nominating you. Which it is one thing for a world leader to suck Trump's ego, to say, I'm nominating you for the Nobel Peace Prize, because that's absurd. What would Trump be getting it for? It is a whole nother thing for Benjamin Netanyahu to be the one doing it.
So I want to present to you, Mr. President, the letter I sent to the Nobel Prize Committee. It's nominating you for the Peace Prize, which is well-deserved, and you should get it.
Thank you very much. This I didn't know. Wow. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Coming from you in particular, this is very meaningful. Thank you very much, Bibi.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you.
I don't think Trump has a good shot at the Nobel Peace Prize because of peace things, because I don't think he's good with the peace. I don't think it helps his chances for it to be Bibi. For it to be Bibi. For it to be Bibi. Weird. Yeah. That's something. And then at the same meeting, Trump was asked about his 90 days or his 90 deals in 90 days proclamation. Now that he's just sending out letters aimlessly saying, this is what we're going to tariff you at to a bunch of countries and claiming that's a deal. And Trump's answer led to this headline. Trump gives head-scratching response when bluntly asked what happened to 90 trade deals in 90 days.
On tariffs, what happened to 90 trade deals in 90 days?
We've spoken to everybody. We know it's all done.
Well, it's day 8.
I told you, we'll make some deals, but for the most part, we're going to send a letter. We're going to say, welcome to the United States. If you'd like to participate in the greatest, most successful country ever. I mean, we're doing better than ever. I don't think, and you're going to see these numbers soon. We've never had numbers like this. We've never had investment like this.
What? You can't do that. You're going to see that, that we were seeing numbers, and you're going to see numbers pretty soon in the numbers that you've never seen before. Well, if he had a specific metric, like we're about to get a great jobs report, or we're about to get a crazy GDP number, but he just says numbers. Yeah, I'm sure somewhere we're going to see numbers we've never seen of something. This answer, it's not as bad as his answer yesterday about the tariffs, which was, let's see. What was it? Do you have that? You haven't cut it yet? Let me see. He's going to get this on the soundboard, but tariffs are tariffs. Let's see if I get Trump. Trump got asked this question and literally answered, tariffs are going to be tariffs. Let's listen.
Mr. President, do the tariff rates change at all on July 9th, or do they change on August 1st?
What are you talking about?
Tariff rates, do they change on July 9th or August 1st?
No, they're going to be tariffs. The tariffs are going to be the tariffs.
Tariffs are going to be the tariffs.
A brain.
Yeah, that's one way to say it. Then Trump gets asked if something is firm, and he said it's pretty firm, but it's not totally firm. It's not yet fully stiff.
Mr. President, are the tariff letters that you sent today final offers, or are they negotiable?
More or less final offer.
So South Korea, Japan should take it or leave it?
We're always subject to negotiate something that's fair, but we've talked to most of the countries, and pretty much they've had their way for many, many decades, as you know. And it was time that we just wanted fairness. This is not really equitable from our standpoint, because it's just a small token by comparison to the damage that's been done over the years. But we had no other president that was willing to do this. I did it in my first term with China and others. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars of tariffs. No inflation, the most successful period of time that we've ever had financially in the country. The first term. I think this term's going to be.
Do you remember the entire economic collapse that he made so much worse because of his handling of the pandemic? We just all. I'm so angry. Whoa. Let me rant about that actually in a second. Let's keep watching though.
Much better, even much better than that. That was the best ever, and this is going to be, I think, substantially better. And we're on the way to doing that. We've already taken in over $100 billion worth of tariffs, and we haven't even started.
From who? Who pays those?
And all I say to the other countries is, some of them wanted to make a deal and want to be fair. Others perhaps got a little bit spoiled. They were a little bit spoiled because for 30, 40 years, 50 years, they were taking advantage of the country. So we're going to, I would say, final, but if they call with a different offer and if I like it, we'll do it.
And the August 1 deadline, I mean, is the August 1 deadline firm now? Is that it?
I would say firm. No, I would say firm, but not 100% firm if they call.
Yeah, not the first time he's had to specify that. Do you get it?
Yep, just got it.
Yeah. We watched 1 minute and 35 seconds so that I could say that. And Cole and Jaden found it wildly unamusing. Wildly unamusing. Jared said, release the Epstein files. That's funny. Sherazad became a member by clicking the join button. Thank you. Chris Bacon became a member as well. R. Hans said, lying monsters uplifting lying monsters. Julie Jewel says, I'm going to order some pep today at drinkpep.com. I'm excited to try it. Yay. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah. Orders have been flooding in and we've only announced it to my audience so far. And obviously we're going to roll it out to other places, but so far only I've announced it and just hordes of orders have been flying off the shelves, and it's heartening. I really do appreciate all of you. Okay, one positive sign from this press conference. Trump did seem to indicate maybe he's open to sending more weapons, to reversing his previous reversal on Ukraine weapons.
Mr. President, are you planning to send more weapons to Ukraine?
We're going to send some more weapons. We have to. They have to be able to defend themselves. They're getting hit very hard now. They're getting hit very hard. We're going to have to send more weapons. Yeah, defensive weapons primarily, but they're getting hit very, very hard.
Hopefully that is true. Okay, now let me circle back for a second to how just hysterical it was when we talked about that whole firm thing. Like, he's talking about tariff dates, but I'm talking about him being flaccid, right? So it's like he's saying it's firm, but it's not 100% firm. And just how well crafted that remark was, I think, is really what strikes me. How linguistically advanced my take on that was. I just thought really drove home a fascinating point. And I just think if any of you deal with challenges in your workplace, just with people who aren't fun or don't get it. Some people just don't get it, right? Just know it's okay. Like, you can love people. I love Jane and Cole while getting that they don't get it, that they don't have it.
I was reading comments. I loved it though. I loved it. It was the funniest thing I've ever heard in my entire. No, just kidding.
No, what I want to go back to was, what on earth are we doing? Him bringing up his first term, I think a lot of Americans go, wait, yeah, why is the second term going so poorly when his first term was so great? Forgetting that we lost so many lives because Trump sucked so terribly at managing the pandemic. He was literally pontificating, no matter how many times I deny it, about maybe you can put something disinfectant inside your body or UV light, and was saying slow the testing down, and was not encouraging people to follow public health advice, and didn't want to wear a mask, which then caused other people to think that the whole mask thing was a scam, because he didn't like that it rubbed off his makeup, literally. And this is what makes me so hopeless sometimes, which I am hopeful generally. But what can make me hopeless is when I remember that America went through all of that. and then a few years later elected him again. And then we're shocked now, and I believe we're going to vote out the Republican Party in pretty big numbers because Americans now are indicating they're really fed up that he's president. But we already saw how he was as president. We already saw that, and you chose to elect him again. Stop it. We can't. We're in the sick, I've said it before, the sick, abusive, toxic cycle with Trump. Like that boyfriend you just can't get rid of. We can't get rid of him. And we're so addicted to the division and hate, I guess, that he brings. It's so weird. We already knew that this was going to be what it turned out to be. The former NOAA administrator, and the NOAA is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association, I think. NOAA. Administration. Oceanic Atmospheric Administration. Richard Spinrad says that he's convinced that the cuts we've seen to emergency management organizations in our government contributed to the absolute heartbreaking disaster in Texas.
I am convinced that the staff cuts that we saw were a contributing factor to the inability of the emergency managers to respond. The staffing was just fine, and the White House has concurred with this, to get the forecast out, to get the watches and warnings issued. But when you send a message, there's no guarantee it's being received, so someone needs to follow up, and that's the warning coordination meteorologist, a position that was vacant.
Yeah, and it seems more and more clear that this could have played a real part, and it's what so many people ahead of time warned of. There were so many warnings from people within the National Weather Service, within these institutions, saying this is not going to be good. All right, I meant to cover this earlier. This is Trump at the meeting again. Sorry, back to something more lighthearted. Look at the makeup. Someone, I think Midas Touch, tweeted along with this photo, talk about border security. Wow. I don't even know how you get it like that. It looks like you could just peel it off. Like he has one of those masks on. That's something. That is something else. Okay, this video of UFC dude, Dana White. This is Dana White. And he's a big MAGA guy. And it's just so, I don't know why, I do know why, but this is so random, and then we'll get back to other stuff. But he's just talking about podcasts, and I want to address this statement.
I was in LA, and Rogan hits me up and says, hey, would you be on my podcast? And I was like, the fuck is a podcast?
Yeah.
Right? And he explained it to me. It's we shoot these shows and we just put them up on the internet. I'm like, okay, good luck with that. Yeah, I'll come do your podcast. He's the biggest fucking podcaster in the world. And now all I do are fucking podcasts. And podcasts are like the new, leading up to a fight, I would do all this media. I'd go on radio tours and do the morning news and do these shows. Yeah. Now it's all podcasts. This is the new media. Mm-hmm. So if you look at all the disruptors that are going on.
Okay, we need to officially put that to rest. We get it. You might not sympathize with this because you're not necessarily consuming the same pundits that I consume, but in my world, it feels like I've heard 100,000 people say that like it's the first time anyone said it. Did you know that, dude, listen, bruh, podcasts are like the real deal now. We know. It's been that wait, did you know that Joe Rogan's really influential? Yes, we get it. And you have too, CNN and stuff being like, could it be that this podcast, a cast of pod, not like a Tide Pod, but a podcast, could have real influence over people? Yes, we get it. Wait, is the mainstream media less relevant than it used to be? Yes. I get it. A lot of people still are coming to that conclusion, so fine, come to it. But like, I just keep hearing people, wow, this independent outlet gets as many, viewers as a mainstream outlet. What? Everything has changed. Yeah, we know. We've been talking about that for so long. Should Democrats engage with independent creators? What? Yes, we know. So many people. Dana White, I said, what's a podcast? And they said, dude, he gets like millions of listens. And I was like, wait, millions? That's like a lot more than 100,000. Oh. Now, did you know? Check it. Hey, check it. Did you know radio shows aren't as relevant as they used to be? Did you know less people listen to the radio in their car than before? People don't even have mobile radios that much anymore. But my point is, people don't go, oh, you know how podcasts have become one of the more relevant parts of media? That's fine. The way people say it is like, oh shit. I found something out, guys. I think social media is relevant. Okay. Do tell, Dana White, wife hitter. Okay. He did. He hit his wife. Take a look at this Obama clip. This is 2012. Not that long ago. Kind of a long time ago now that I think of it, but not that long ago in the scheme of history. Think about this versus the moment that we're in now. This being the debate versus I have concepts of a plan or whatever.
I have concepts of a plan.
It also means that it'll save money in your pocketbook. That's the strategy you need on all of the above strategy, and that's what we're going to do in the next 4 years.
But that's not what you've done in the last 4 years. That's the problem. Sure. In the last 4 years, you cut permits and licenses on federal land and federal waters in half.
Not true, Governor Romney.
So how much did you cut them by?
Not true.
By how much did you cut them by then?
Governor, we have actually produced more oil.
No. How much did you cut licenses and permits on federal land and federal waters?
Governor Romney, here's what we did. There were a whole bunch of oil companies.
No, I had a question, and the question was, how much did you cut them by?
You want me to answer
How much did you cut them by?
I'm happy to answer the question.
All right, and it is?
Here's what happened. You had a whole bunch of oil companies who had leases on public lands that they weren't using. So what we said was, you can't just sit on this for 10, 20, 30 years, decide when you want to drill, when you want to produce, when it's most profitable for you. These are public lands. So if you want to drill on public lands, you use it or you lose it.
Okay,
and so what we did was take away those leases, and we are now reletting them.
Okay, so that was then. Let me see if I can get pulled up here. Let's see if I can get this pulled up here. Okay.
By the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
He's a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap.
Yeah.
You know how many? By the way.
I can play you in golf. That's the biggest lie I've ever seen. Now listen, if you start beating me, I'll just hit you over the head with a golf club. No, I'm playing. Much has changed. Much has changed. Now, on Biden, I see headlines like this, and I'm literally thinking, who is this for? Who is this for? Biden's team, this is how the headline goes, scolded reporters, changed his number after they called personal cell phone. Report. This is Joe Biden. Hello. Former president. Who is this for? Who's calling Biden right now? Former President Joe Biden's aides reportedly changed his number and scolded a New York Times journalist, woohoo, after he called Biden's personal cell phone while chasing an interview. The revelation comes in a new book, 2024, How Trump Retook the White House and the Democrats Lost America. This is so dumb. Democrats didn't lose. Just shut up. Everyone shut up for a second. Sometimes I literally want that. What if everyone could just be silent for 1 week? 1 week, except for me. I think we could solve everything. If everyone could just shut up for a week, all the other pundits, and just give me a second, we'll fix it. I alone, as Trump said, can fix it. So, this is not the same book, by the way. This is a different book. But whenever Trump loses, it's just annoying. Trump did a coup and then he left office, and then 2 seconds later, everyone's like, could Trump come back? Is he going to come back? It's going to be epic. Trump could win. And then with Democrats, they lose an election, and it's nobody likes Democrats anymore. They suck ass. Which is, I mean, true. Nobody really likes Democrats right now. But maybe they just lost an election. Maybe that happens. And it's a big deal. Blah, blah, blah. I get it. I've already made all my points. But they're doing this existential. Americans will never trust Democrats again because they lied. They lied about Biden's mental acuity. Yes, they will. So Democrats never can be trusted by Americans ever again because some of them said a little bit hyperbolically that Biden was as sharp as he's ever been. And maybe he's not as sharp as he's ever been. Okay? But Trump gets to lie about the election, do a coup, the lies caused the coup, he lies about everything during the pandemic, he lies about 50,000 different things, literally, during his administration. And it's, how will Biden's failures fuel Trump's retaking of the White House? You know what I mean? I get it. You know this. You know this shit, as Chris Cuomo would say. I've been making these criticisms of why the Democrats aren't reviving the party like they should. Yes. I explained that in my speech on Saturday night. We're going to post that as soon as we can. It's going to be great. It was a great night. But at the standards, I'm so sick of the standard. And why are we calling Biden's personal cell phone? Why are we calling Biden's personal? Who needs an interview with him right now? I say, let Biden retire. According to the book, Pager obtained Biden's personal number and called him directly on March 25th. And the former president picked up, of course. Who's this? Pager. I used to have a pager. He'd beep at me. I said, what the hell is this, Jill? It's beeping at me. Okay, goodbye. Wait, Mr. President. So he picked up. Biden said he would be willing to speak for this book the next day. The following morning, he again answered the call, briefly offered scathing views of the open weeks of the President Trump's second term. I don't see anything he's done that's been productive, Biden said. Fair. Pressed on whether he regretted stepping away from the 2024 race, Biden added, no, not now. I don't spend a lot of time on regrets. He then ended the call saying he was running late for a train. What are we doing? This is so wacky. Why is he going on trains? I keep wondering that. I keep seeing photos of him on Amtrak. And I'm like, isn't he the former president? Not that Amtrak's not perfectly a wonderful way to travel. Probably, I hope. But for the president, and then he went and sat in a normal commercial plane. I didn't know that was a thing. What if some freak is in the plane and they attack Biden? What followed was a rapid clampdown from Biden's team. After the first call, furious Biden aides repeatedly called and texted Pager. This is what happened. All right, let me explain what happened. Jake Tapper and the other guy, Eric Thompson, Alex Thompson, Johnson, something like that. They released their books, okay? Their book, The Original Sin. And it actually did sell very well. And they brought it up every 2 seconds on CNN. And there were actually interesting bombshells in there. Some of them were strange, like Biden, they were going to put him in a wheelchair, and then we see him on a bike. But okay. But then some were interesting about how they would try to make sure he was not seen in his worst moments, and all that's fine to analyze. Okay. And then a lot of people saw my book, Trust, and they also saw my other book, Truth. Trust, Biden's decline, what I knew and who's to blame. Truth, Trump's decline, how I know and who told me. That one always gets me. And what happened was all of these reporters were like, shoot, I want a book. So now but all the bombshells have been touched on already, right? There's already all that what are they going to do another? And we found out that Biden was, I'm trying to choose my word, old, I think is what a source familiar with the matter who's chosen to stay anonymous for fear of retribution from Biden claimed that he was old and that was impacting his cognition. So there's not really more books left. The book, we got it, and a better one and all that, but everyone wants their own, and so their what's it called? Their scraps, their straw, they're grasping at straws. Or, whenever you slurp your whole drink already, like an alcoholic beverage, and then you're so bummed out, you're like, dang it, I want more. But then it kind of melts the ice a little bit, and you're like, oh, I'm going to pretend like that's more. It's like they're kind of doing that. They're waiting for the ice to melt, and they're slurping it up. But it's like, that's not even real alcohol. That's just mostly melted ice. There's not real bombshells in there. It's just melted bombshells. And so now we get, in the new book, Biden's aides were calling pagers saying, don't call Biden on his personal phone. Trump's ripping apart everything, and this. I want the big bombshells. That's fine. I get that. You know that. I think we should learn from our mistakes, and there were a lot of mistakes that led to Trump winning on the Democratic side. But I don't care that Biden discontinued his personal phone and got a new one because too many journalists were calling him personally. And can we be honest about what happened here? His aides were like, every time he gets a call, he picks it up. That's the problem. It's just like, the hell? This is Joe. Who's this? Oh, I had a friend named Jeremy. He was a funny guy. Now listen, hey, 1 second, wait, listen. The idea that you cut me off. Don't cut me off. I'm Joe Biden. Joe Biden. My son is Hunter. My friend Jeremy. He worked at an ice cream shop. What I mean, that guy comes from his perspective around. So he did some unspeakable things to the ice cream. Listen, I'm not telling you the idea of his. He put his man out in the ice cream and he gave it to the guy. So his aides are thinking, okay, he can't pick up every call and just start talking to every journalist. Let's turn off his phone, which should be an idea the Trump administration learns from. They need to turn off Trump's phone because that would save him a lot of problems, like indicating to Iran before we strike them that we're going to strike them, so then they're prepared. Whew. Hey, do you remember that historian? Oh, I should probably, let me, 1 second. Everyone just take a second here. Everyone hold your horses. Okay. Becky said, Donald J. Trump, you are not Pinocchio. Your blank doesn't grow when you lie. Okay. Tim Gonzalez, who has a very buff profile photo, said, word of the day, Trumpery. Showy but worthless. It's a real word in the dictionary. Dang. Jacoby Slaps said, have you heard of this new song called DVDs? Right, in reference to the something. What was I saying? Oh, podcasts. Yeah. There's these really cool things you can. It's like a little plastic saucer, and you can put onto it music or movies. In the DVD case, CD would be the music, and then you put it into a box, and it plays the movie in your house. New media. Captain Chaos says that was then. This is they're eating our pets. Yeah, exactly. I should have played that one. The golf one was funny though. Rebecca Linder has become a member by clicking that join button next to the subscribe button on YouTube. Thank you so much. Getting the members only bonus show. Berna911 said Joe Biden stole my bike. And then someone said Joe Biken. Oh gosh. We're just having too much fun, aren't we? People say that. They say, you know how Trump said there's too much winning. You're going to have too much winning. You're going to say, stop, too much winning. It's like that. People are like, stop, we're having too much fun. I say that as a joke, but honestly, it's a little bit serious. People are like, why are you, this is serious stuff. Why are you being so goofy? It's serious. Take it seriously. And I say, I would, but if I did, I would have a heart attack. So this is, if you say that who was it? Somebody commented something like that recently. We addressed it. It was like, you've gone too goofy, too wacky. And my argument is you want me to die. So if you criticize my humor, you want me to die. That's the new arrangement, okay? Okay? Because the humor is the only way that I don't die from a heart attack from all of this.
Well, we all are going to die.
Nice. Tucker Carlson once described a quote-unquote historian, I don't know if you can call him that, Daryl Cooper, who you'll see in the video I'm about to play, that he said he may be the best and most honest popular historian in the United States. His latest project is the most forbidden of all, trying to understand World War II. Gosh, I hate Tucker Carlson so much. I hate his... It's fine if you want to be a right-wing extremist. Radicalized to the right. If you... Okay, fine is the wrong word, but like, you can do that and still be a good faith actor. You can genuinely believe terrible things. And I'll criticize that, but you can actually believe that you're correct. Tucker does this thing where he's such a coward, he won't just say what he believes. Like, say it. Say it, Tucker. Say you don't think Hitler was as bad as people say. Say that. Stand on your 10 toes down, right? Say it. Because that's what this podcast argued, was that the chief villain of World War II was Winston Churchill, not Hitler. Interesting. So say it. Or here, don't do the it's forbidden. It's not forbidden. No. Trying to understand it. Why do you think we learn about World War II so much? We want to understand it. You're saying it's forbidden to say, so what was Hitler so upset about anyways? He had to be mad about there's always two sides to the story, right? That's what you're really wanting to put in your description. So don't do this. No one lets you talk about World War II. We learned about it every single year in history, clearly. No, but that was only what the historians wanted to tell you. Okay, well then what do you think they left out? Oh, and you won't say it. You won't say it because you're a coward. Just say what you mean. So I'm setting this up because this guy, Daryl Cooper, responded to Tucker doing an interview with the Iranian president by saying, yes, this is great because Hitler really wanted peace. So, which is a really weird logical connection. And I'll show you someone who actually knows history debunking the points that Daryl Cooper makes. But what a weird connection. Yes, great job interviewing the president of Iran. Man, Hitler wasn't as bad as I thought. How did we get there? Okay, but first let me just show you how much glazed donuts were being made in this interview.
So sometimes I think to myself, like, why are current events so unclear to so many people? And I always go back.
Because of people like you freak. Oh, gosh, sorry.
To the question of history. You can't really understand what's happening right now unless you understand what has happened before. You certainly can't plan a coherent future unless you understand. And then I think, well, why do people know so little about history? Probably because it's not taught And then to the extent that it is taught in, say, airport bookstores.
Is that the only place you learned history? I'm going to have it perfect eventually one day. There's no way, right? I can do it this many times and it never be perfect. That's actually a really interesting concession he just made, or admission. The only place we learn history is in airport bookstores. Oh, so that's why you think this about history, Tucker. I learned history a lot more than in airports.
Probably because it's not taught. And then to the extent that it is taught in, say, airport bookstores, our popular historians are people like John Meacham and Michael Beschloss and Doris Kearns Goodwin and Anne Applebaum, not only sort of the dumbest people in the country, I would say, I know most of them, but also completely dishonest political actors. And so I think I can tell that you hate compliments, but I just want to say, I think you are the most important popular historian working in the United States today. You work in a different medium on Substack X podcasts, but I'm a fan of yours because of the way you treat history, which is with relentless curiosity and honesty. And I'm sure you have all kinds of political beliefs or religious beliefs or whatever, but I feel like you get to what you think is true based on really intense research. So I just, for those people who aren't familiar with who you are, I want people to know who you are, and I want you to be
Just kiss him. Just kiss him already.
The biggest load that we've seen.
Yeah. Just kiss him. I don't like when they do all this buildup. You just want to kiss him. It's fine. It's fine. But just do it. Turn off the cameras. Have whatever you need to get out of your system with Daryl. And then go back and have a normal conversation. That's so creepy. This is the guy who says, Winston, who's going to be that, before he's even heard the argument, that positive about a guy who goes around saying, man, I just think Churchill really was the villain and not Hitler. Or the chief villain. Before showing you what Daryl Cooper recently posted, here's someone who imitates Tucker really nicely. And this is Going on a Date with Tucker Carlson, part 2.
So it was just like a lot of trauma in my last relationship. Wow. But thankfully, I'm doing so much better.
It's terrible that happened.
Why did you laugh?
I feel horrible that happened to you. Really, I do.
Okay.
And so, I know what you mean. I know what you're going through. I was molested by a demon.
Excuse me? What?
No. It's okay. I was asleep.
Okay, that's still weird as hell.
I want to make love to the state of New Hampshire.
This isn't going to work.
But I was molested by a demon.
Right.
It's still in me.
Can we get the check, please?
That, of course, coming from Tucker's demon story. I never thought of wording it like getting molested by a demon whenever his dog scratched him and he thought it was a demon. So, media reports, total bloody moron. Tucker Carlson's favorite historian brutally mocked over Hitler revisionism. And this is Daryl Cooper's post here. You can see it there, but I'll read it here. And he said it in response to Tucker interviewing the president of Iran. Daryl just can't not put Hitler into it. Early in World War II, when Hitler was still refusing to retaliate in kind for British bombings of German civilian targets, he had the Luftwaffe drop leaflets calling for peace on 2 British cities. Churchill had teams of street sweepers on standby to clean them up before anyone saw them, and the public was warned about being found in possession of them. Even if you think the call for peace was pure deception, people have a right to hear the other side out when deliberating over peace or war. Why not trust yourself and the people to suss fact from fiction and make informed decisions? It's very telling that every time the government wants us to kill or die for it, extreme measures are taken to ensure we never hear the other side's perspective. Don't be afraid. Be an adult and a responsible citizen. Hear them out and then decide. It's just so, it's interesting when the subject matter is not even Hitler and you still bring up Hitler. Oh yeah, the president of Iran. Just from the standpoint of the president of Iran, let me just quickly say, what's everyone so fed up with Hitler about? Like, where did we get this idea that he didn't want peace? Anyways, you have Charles C.W. Cook responding, saying, where to start? The leaflet referred to here, A Last Appeal to Reason by Adolf Hitler, was dropped in mass on August 1st, 1940. By that date, number one, Nazi Germany's attempt to destroy the Royal Air Force ahead of an invasion of Britain was already in its 4th week on July 10th, 1940, 21 days before the leaflets hit British ships. I'm all over this. Okay, on July 10th, 1940, 21 days before the leaflets, you had British ships being hit by Luftwaffe bombers, and 70 bombers struck dockyards in Wales. From that date on, raids were staged by the Luftwaffe every day and night. Hitler had already issued Directive Number 16, which formalized plans for the imminent invasion of Britain. Number 3, Nazi Germany had already conquered France, Poland, Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg, and had begun in July 1940 to make plans to invade the Soviet Union, with which it had signed a non-aggression pact, and to murder tens of millions of its supposedly subhuman people. Cooper's causation is false too. 5 weeks after the leaflet was dropped, Nazi Germany started bombing London and other British cities in a campaign known as the Blitz. But this did not happen because, to his great regret, Hitler's friendly little leaflet campaign had failed. It happened because by that point Hitler had realized that Nazi Germany was losing the Battle of Britain, that the air superiority he needed prior to an invasion was going to elude him, and that a new tactic was necessary. In a sense, the Blitz was an updated leaflet campaign. The purpose was to turn the British against the war and leave Nazi Germany with a free hand to do more of what it had done since 1937. Man, it just keeps going. I'm gonna finish this out because it shows you in a much more succinct post how much dishonesty has to be explained. As for the idea that Churchill magically had all the leaflets collected, the Nazis dropped 5 million of them in literally every part of the country. So while efforts were indeed made in cities to clean up, and the British government indeed didn't like it, hiding them all wasn't remotely feasible or even attempted in earnest. Even in the 1990s, when I was a kid, there were so many of them in circulation that you'd see them at garage sales and antique shops, and old people would go get them from their attics to show them off. To cast Hitler as Cooper does here, and by extension Churchill, you have to ignore that when this leaflet was dropped, Nazi Germany had taken over pretty much all of Western Europe and was in the process of attempting to destroy Britain's air defenses, so that in Hitler's own words, in July 16th, Germany could eliminate the English homeland as a base for the prosecution of the war against Germany, and if necessary to occupy it completely. If you are able to read those words and buy their implication that Germany was merely acting defensively, then you're a total bloody moron. There we go. That's what's difficult too about dishonesty from people like Daryl Cooper is it's often, whenever we've had to fact check Tucker Carlson, this is demonstrated too. It often takes like 10 times the time to dive into all of the dishonest claims that are made by someone in a very short period of time, which is what is helpful for them in debates, because they go blah, 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 and all these claims are floating around, and you're going, to address one of those substantively and explain so thoroughly why you're wrong, I'd have to dive into a lot of thoughtful analysis that you're not giving me the time to engage in. Okay. Cap G American 826 said we all suffer from MDS, MAGA Deranger Syndrome. So exhausting. True. Skeets said, I am from Canada. In grade 12, I took U.S. history and probably know more about America than most Americans. Hey. Rachel Atwood said, what are Tucker's views on Stalin or Daryl's? Listen. He really, really loved. He just loved his people. Just listen for a second. Why is it that the mainstream media is always dogging on Stalin? That's always the sound that they don't ever make that sound, but I always imagine them making that sound because that's kind of how their face is always, never thought of that. As they're saying the most obviously thought of things before ever, like, why did Hitler do what he did? Hey, we've been answering that question for a really long time now. It's just ridiculous. It's the just asking questions philosophy. That's not a philosophy, it's a dishonest tactic. Have we ever proven that Tucker Carlson's not a mass murderer? I don't know. I'm saying I don't know. that he keeps hundreds of dead bodies in the shed where the demon attacked him? Has that happened? I don't know. I've never seen evidence that it didn't happen. Thank you all. I'll leave you with that. Talk to you next time.